Well, we are untangling the complex world of nutrition science. With so many conflicting studies and mixed messages, it's easy to get lost.
Well, to help clear up some of that confusion, we interviewed our friend Dr. Jed Ballard, who shed some light on what's really agreed upon and what you can trust. So get ready for a clearer view of what really works for your health. All right, we are back here with Dr. Jed Ballard. Jed, we've talked about this so many times here, nutrition and how beneficial it is, but we've always heard this whole back and forth about what's the best way to go to be nutritional for your body. There's so much conflict back and forth. Why?
Yeah, and you're so right on that, Cliff. We'll touch on a couple points. First off, whenever you're doing studies, that's how we do medicine, is we do big studies, we use the science, and that helps us take care of people. But studies are really designed for drugs or even surgeries. And what I mean by that is it's very easy to study a single factor. They have a pill, they have a placebo. All the rest of the people's lives, they're doing the exact same thing, so super easy. Nutrition, or what people are eating, encompasses such a broad range that it's exceptionally difficult to study. And as far as human studies go, it's unethical. You can't trap someone, isolate them, and give them whatever food products you want to come up with a perfect study. And that's why mice studies, et cetera, you get the hints of something great for humans, but once you get to a human, you can no longer isolate it. So it is difficult to study nutrition. So that's kind of a factor.
Okay. And it's difficult for us to understand, right? Like, who should we trust and what? So
exactly. And the problem that goes even further is you have literal PhD level experts that have entirely conflicting views on nutrition. Very good example would be keto versus vegan. Pretty big camps that have absolutely militant defenders of their faith.
It's almost like iPhone and Android users. There is no in between.
There's nothing in between. And interestingly enough, a lot of times, these polar opposite camps actually use the same argument of, well, this is what our ancestors ate and we developed over millions and millions of years, but were our ancestors Inuits and ate straight meat? Were they in the rainforest and probably ate mostly plants? Were they a Plains Indian? And, some seasons they had a lot of plants, other seasons it would have been dried meat. So it's kind of it's funny to me that they can use the same argument to write down what seems to be making sense, absolute opposite points.
Well, okay, that leads up here to this, because they can also make the same points that are agreed upon.
Correct.
So what are those?
Yep, so when you I've studied nutrition quite a bit now, and when you look at the nutritional studies as a whole, there are some common themes. There's always going to be outliers in that, very specific weird diets, but some common themes in that as far as how to eat better, live longer, live healthier. Number one would be get enough fiber. So getting enough fiber is so important to support your microbiome, keep you regular, prevent cancer. And the other thing with fiber is fiber tends to be encased in other very micronutrient-rich foods. So where you're getting your fiber tends to come from fruits, vegetables, whole grains. So they have a lot of other health benefits while you're getting it. So if you focus on getting at least 40 grams or so per day, you don't have to weigh it out, but kind of get used to just eating as much fiber as you can. Definitely a nutrition win on that. Okay. Probably your number one health factor, honestly.
Okay, so now let's talk about one size fits all, because it's not always the case, right?
Yeah. So when you're talking one size fits all, and that can be a problem as well, because again, you have people that may look great, seem healthy at the time, really being a proponent, but you got to look at it a little bit like the 95-year-old smoking cigarettes. They are smoking cigarettes and they're getting away with it, but that cigarette will also increase your chance of cancer over time. So people do get away with it, and then they can be strong proponents, but you got to look at population studies for any sort of usefulness. So as you're going through those, it's just those common themes. Very plant forward, not necessarily vegetarian, but plant forward. So a lot of fruits and veggies, a lot of beans, legumes, getting enough protein in. You can actually get a protein starvation and die of something called kwashiorkor, even if you have enough calories. Not eating to excess, and that just kind of makes sense. All these things are a little bit common sensey, but if you're eating too much sugar, diabetes, too much fat and cholesterol, likely heart problems, too many calories, obesity, which leads to all the others, too much alcohol, liver failure, so you just got to keep it in moderation. It's kind of that 80-20 rule, mostly eating good.
Okay. Too much of anything is usually not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all things in moderation, including moderation.
All right. Great.
Good.
So yeah, just find the nutrition bandwagon that you want to get on and just be moderate.
Yeah, and honestly, I would actually say just let the bandwagon go by and remember those couple principles, and then just adapt your eating style to something that you like and is sustainable, while kind of covering those basic principles. And there's a huge range of how you can do that, and things are going to work out fine.
All right, good to know. All right, Jed, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
No problem. Eat well.